Hi everyone, my name's Tati, and as some of you may already know, I was diagnosed with schizoaffective disorder quite a while ago now. It was 13 and a half years ago, like July 2011. First of all, I'd like to apologize. I'm a bit under the weather, so my nose is all stuffed up today, but I still wanted to make this episode because I think it's an important one and it's all about what is it like to lose my mind? What's it like to go through psychosis? And so that's really what I want to focus on today. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you like a few examples of how, an episode is actually something that's undeniable. Undeniable. Like, I lose my ability to function when I go through psychosis. In my case, it always happens with the manic phase of the bipolar part of my disorder. Whenever I've been through an episode, a few things start to happen. First of all, I kind of lose track of time. There's no chronology that makes sense in hindsight. I have flashes of things I've said, things that happened, but I don't necessarily have the context, a linear context of a day or weeks during which I might have been off my rocker. And um, I also lose the ability to connect to my outside world in any significant way. And my mind is going a million miles a minute, and I'm literally the most ADHD person on the planet in those moments. Like, I can go from one art project to the next in 15 seconds flat. And then after the next art project, I might be like, ooh, I need to turn on the TV because there's an important message there that I need to send to the world. I start believing that where I live is like a movie set where everything revolves around me, kind of like a Truman Show kind of thing. And then a few seconds after that, if I have someone in front of me, I might look at them a bit warily, asking myself, like, ooh, is that really my friend? Or is that someone else possessing my friend? And another interesting delusion that I go through is actually dimension hopping and time hopping. And so instead of asking myself, where am I? Because I knew where I was like, when am I? Which dimension is this? Which reality is this? And um, so, it can go pretty far, and one very distinct characteristic of an episode for me is actually having this intense sense of purpose to save the world, So, for example, I can, through listening to music and dancing and sending high frequency vibrations out into the universe, I believe that I have the power to stop someone from pressing the nuclear button, for example. And I might have delusions about being protected by the CIA. And, like, there's quite a few, there's a fair amount of delusions that, like, pop in and out I also at one point had a delusion that I was there to save every single soul in hell, earth, and heaven, and no soul left behind is, one of the delusions that I had. And I would do all that, like, well, I would do all that. I would be under the impression that I was doing all that with the power of love, So it's a worthy cause. I do believe in real life outside of an episode that being the best person you can be and be leading by example and being the best example that you possibly can for you and those around you, even at the smallest scale, can make a true difference in the world. So, but during an episode, the stark difference is that, like, I literally can believe at some points that the whole world is watching because they've brought me into some kind of witness protection program, and I'm living in a movie set, like, slash Truman Show situation where my every move is being monitored and watched broadcast live to the world. And, like, that wasn't the case. When I'm in an episode, I also have the belief that the TV is speaking to me, and that what I'm watching isn't actually actors, it's people in their own dimension, in another dimension, that are speaking and communicating directly through the TV screen. And very quickly, I stop sleeping, stop sleeping, and just keep going a million miles an hour, a million miles a minute. And if I go out of my apartment, I'm clearly the crazy person on the street. It's absolutely undeniable. Now the thing is, these episodes, while in the midst of them, feel amazing. It feels like I have the answers to the universe and that I'm playing a major role in saving every soul in every galaxy, in every dimension, in heaven, hell, earth, other planets, all forms of life. And, it differs from how I usually feel in life, which is I have hope for humanity. And every day I try to be the best person I can be, as I said earlier. And I work on myself in order to feel good in my life. And what makes me feel good is actually sharing my journey and helping others like me through my coaching. The difficult thing about, as I said earlier, is that these manic episodes, these psychoses, feel amazing. So it's very difficult to want to return to this concrete reality. The people it's actually hardest on are my loved ones. They've fallen in at this point in an episode. All my loved ones, I've lost my ability to sit down and, like, listen to what's going on in their lives. It's all about me and my role in saving the world and finding the answers to the universe and saving God, bringing God to earth because that's where he wants to be. And these are just snapshots of things I remember. And it feels, it felt, every episode that I've ever had has felt fantastic. but it's caused a lot of grief around me. And that's something that I'm not willing to perpetuate. And so that's why I make such a point of working on myself, working on my introspection, my personal development, my connection to others and to myself. That's why I practice self-care, because I don't want to be a source of pain and despair and just grief for the ones I love. I figured out that I'm not much help to anyone if I'm locked up in a psych ward or if I'm off my rocker 24/7. I'm actually not doing anything productive because, and I can tell by the way that my apartment looks after an episode that nothing productive happened there. I was destructive and a danger to myself. There was one episode where I thought I could fly. Thankfully, I only tried to run and take off and didn't actually just maybe jump out of a window or something, because that could have had life ending consequences. So, even though most of my delusions revolve around, bringing peace and love to the world and bringing eternal life to everyone, um, I'm not actually doing anything constructive to work or establishing any kind of plan. I'm just, like winging it with my good vibes and good energies, but in reality, I've lost all sense of inhibition and all sense of fear and groundedness with reality. And I can no longer function in this world because I'm too erratic, too volatile, I'm too stuck identifying with every single thought that goes through my mind. And it's life endangering. It's life endangering. And to be honest, I I've actually come to like reality, my reality, this grounded reality in which I have a close-knit circle of friends. I enjoy listening about their day, their joys, their fears, their crappy days, their amazing days. Like I love making music. Um, I love my dogs. I love my boyfriend. I love my apartment. I love self-care and, doing the dishes and keeping my apartment tidy, doing the laundry, all the things that seemed like chores before. Um, I've grown to enjoy, and learning how to regulate my emotions was a big one. I have moods like everyone, but instead of feeling guilty about being in a mood or feeling resentful for someone causing me to be in a mood, I don't I don't fall to rock bottom every time something happens to me in my life. I've learned how to regulate my emotions and regulate my reactions and really self reflect on my own parts of toxicity, self toxicity that came from a lack of sense of self. And I built up a sense of self. At first it was only through questions like, who am I? What do I like in this life? What do I really love doing in this life? What piques my curiosity instead of my fear? And then I go do those things. One thing at a time, But little by little, doing one little thing a day that brings me joy has led to me doing 10,000 little things a day that bring me joy, including the dishes, including laundry, including cleaning. Even my admin has become easier to deal with. I'm not saying my admin is perfect, but it's getting better and better, and that brings me a lot of joy and a self accomplishment. And with that, a sense of self-worth, self-esteem, self-confidence. And if I can do it, I believe that others with my disorder can do this too. And if you don't have this disorder, I mean, my goodness, if you're not happy with your life, dare make a change. Dare work on yourself. Dare ask yourself difficult questions and give yourself honest answers. There's nothing more rewarding and gratifying than living an authentic life. And I recommend it for everyone, not just those with my disorder. But what I do want to say to those who do have this diagnosis is, your diagnosis is not a death sentence. It's actually an opportunity, because there's many things during my episodes that I've actually hung on to since going through them, like that sense of fearlessness. I was brave during my episodes, and that gave me a reference point for what brave felt like, because I had experienced very little of it in my real life, and it's something I discovered during my episodes. So certainly don't think that you got it all wrong during your episodes. If you have this diagnosis and you've been through psychosis too, you didn't get it all wrong. You did get a few things wrong. I know I did. A bunch of things wrong. But thanks to the medication and the personal development work that I've done, I've gone from living in permanent survival mode to living my life and enjoying it and loving it and being productive and being an active member of society. I've got my niche of the kind of people I like to spend my time with, and that's okay. We're all allowed to choose our people. I love my little quiet, simple life, and it doesn't mean that there's no excitement in this life. There is. More so than when I was chasing to have a cool life, before my disorder, or even for a few years during the beginning of my diagnosis. Never happy, never satisfied. I was always trying to prove myself in every aspect of my life, and ended up as a Netflix and sloth kind of person for many years. And it took me really snapping out of it. Like tough love time, accountability time towards myself. And I want better for myself, so I'm going to do better for myself. I'm going to take care of myself so I can take care of the ones I love and that take care of me too. So find out who you are. Find out who your people are. Find out what you love to do, and then go do that. It's the best thing you can ever do for yourself. And self-care, yeah, it's the best way to stay out of the psych hospital, that's for sure. And it's the best way to ensure that you want to return back to reality, back to your loved ones, back to connecting to yourself and others in a meaningful way. And I promise you, with work, the medication won't feel like it's sucking the life out of you anymore. It'll feel like a safety net that allows you to explore this world and explore your wants and desires and needs and joys and passions. Because without the medication, I'd be in and out of psych wards. I've been there. I don't want to go back there. So, yeah, I hope this episode was helpful, and I hope it gave a clear sense of what an episode can be like. And I hope you enjoyed my little tips and tricks towards a more meaningful life. And happy holidays to everyone, and see you soon. Love to all.